This is Peter from the Property Club, and I'm actually live here in Manila, Philippines. So it's a beautiful day. I've got an amazing view behind me, and I'll show you that view just in a minute. But look, today I want to talk about a subject that's really important, and I don't want you to miss out because, like me, you might be looking for property to buy or rent, and there is a huge opportunity now in the Philippines. Actually, today's topic, I want to talk about the Philippines property boom. So there has been a huge increase in property, and I want to talk about, is this increase real? I mean, is it an artificial increase, or is it off the back of the POGOs, the Philippine offshore gaming operations that we're seeing, the Chinese set up in places like Clark and Metro Manila? What is it? Why is property just going crazy here in the Philippines? Well, for one thing, the truth is there's a lot of people moving here. There's a lot of people moving here from places like Thailand. I recently talked about that, okay, in another video, because, there's a lot of opportunity here. Philippines, well, it's more fun in the Philippines. It's a great place to live. So obviously people are thinking, well, now might be the right time to actually move to the Philippines and buy a property, okay? So one big thing also is visas. It's really easy to get a visa here. It's a lot easier to get a visa here than other places like Thailand, where now they have this elite card and you have to pay millions of Thai baht, which could be $100,000, $200,000 plus dollars to migrate your entire family to Thailand, and that's before you make any property purchase whatsoever. So, there's a huge opportunity here in the Philippines at the moment. I still think, even though prices have increased drastically, that actually property is still relatively cheap in comparison to the rest of the world. So I want to show you just quickly behind me the view here. It's just amazing what's happened in the last few years here in Ortigas, Manila. And I want to show you this view. Check this out. Look at these buildings. So huge buildings, mega buildings. I mean, you can hardly even see the top of this one. It just seems to go forever. And, I'm pretty high. I'm on the 30th floor, something like that at the moment. And this, it looks like a 60 or possibly even a 70-story building. Look at the cranes here. Just goes forever. So it's really big. Ortigas, it feels almost like Hong Kong now, very dense. The Philippines seems to be going the same way as places like Hong Kong, in terms of just the dense population. Actually, believe it or not, Manila is the most densely populated city in the world now. So yeah, there you go. It's just insane. You can see these big skyscrapers here, these towers, and below that there's a new mall, and I did a video on this one as well, which is the Podium Mall. So there's a Podium Mall just down there. You can't actually see it, but behind this building, okay, so this is Shang Tower, Tower 1. There's another Shang building, and behind that is another residential building being built. It's kind of like a squiggly S sign. It's an interesting building, and that's being built here, and that's being built by SM. So a lot happening here just in the local area. It's not just here in Ortigas, it's all over. It's in Pasay, it's in Fort Bonifacio BGC, it's in Makati, it's everywhere. Asina City, I showed you that recently. That's just insane what's going down there. It's like the next Macau, well and truly. So what is it? Is this property boom sustainable? And do you need to be careful? Absolutely, you need to be careful buying now, because some people, well, they're asking a bit too much. You really need to do your investigation and try and work out what property prices were when the developments first came out. Because if a development was only 80,000 peso per square meter, and now they're asking 250, 300,000 per square meter, you might think again and think, well, are you buying at the top? Could prices come off? That is definitely a possibility. So please be careful when buying here in the Philippines. Another reason why people are moving here to the Philippines is just the lifestyle and the cost of living. Just waiting for the elevator to go down. As I was saying, a lot of people are moving here just for the lifestyle. So you can see behind me the resort pool at my condominium here at the Shangri-La. It's a lovely pool. We've got great facilities, sauna, steam room on the second level just there. We've got a gym, we've got everything you can imagine and, want, okay? And literally you can own a condominium in here in Shangri-La in one of these towers for as cheap as $100,000. So that's still very, very cheap in comparison to the Western world and other places, like in Southeast Asia, like for example Thailand. Another good example is Hong Kong, where property prices are just absolutely insane. Singapore, the same. In Singapore or Hong Kong, something like this in a 5-star, hotel like condominium might cost you as much as $1 million or $2 million US for a tiny, 50 plus square meter apartment. So yes, I still think Philippines is a great opportunity for property buying. The elephant in the room at the moment is the POGOs, the Philippine offshore gaming operations operated by mainland Chinese. Whereby, Chinese are, very investment hungry. They're investing in, casinos, these online casinos operations here in, mainly Manila. But also they're setting up shop in places like Clark Pampanga, where they have an actual Pogo hub, and even Subic Bay. I know that there's actually quite a few operations there too. So that's a big factor. And now that the Chinese are here, actually it's interesting because I was walking down the street in Ortigas the other day, and believe it or not, yes, mate, literally more than 50% of the people walking down the street, I would say, were from mainland China, not the Philippines. So that was very interesting to see. Very interesting indeed. So yes, absolutely, Chinese are onto it now. They're here in the Philippines and they're actively buying property and investing in the country. I think that's off the back of the relationship between President Duterte and Chairman Xi Jinping, because there's a bond there, a bit of a relationship that sparked there, and there's this movement from the US, an alliance from the US, the old alliance, to now mainland China. So obviously the communist Chinese government, what they do and what they tend to do is they say, hey, this is a good investment and this is a bad investment, and people in China listen. So obviously what it seems to be to me is the Chinese government has said, hey, look, the Philippines is a good and new place to invest. So absolutely, it's a great opportunity. So how do I feel about the investment coming from China? Honestly speaking, I think it's a very good thing. I think it's a good thing for businesses. I think it's a good thing for the Filipino people, and I think we should actually be embracing it. And realizing that it doesn't matter where you go nowadays, Chinese are investing all over the world, and we need to embrace that and understand it better. So I think now is definitely still a very good opportunity, not just in Manila but also outside of Manila. Cities like Davao, even Cebu, Subic Bay, Angeles, Clark Pampanga. There's a number of different places you can look at investing. So ultimately, I think it's a great time to get into the market, and I think we still have a long way to go, and the property will still continue to rise depending on where you buy. I think some places in Manila are already pretty expensive, so for me personally, I put a hold on buying in Metro Manila, and I'm looking outside of Manila. I still love Manila. I still can see that there's a lot of growth here, a lot of development, but I just personally think I'm better off buying land, okay? A hard asset being a land or a house, over condominiums. So if you can buy land or some kind of house or townhouse, I think you're going to be better off than purchasing condos in the long run. Now, I remember speaking to a friend of mine who was from Hong Kong, and this is probably about 5 years ago, and he said to me, he was complaining. He was saying he bought a condominium in BGC, okay? And he bought that condominium, a 2-bedroom, for about $5 million. This is a long time ago. And the condominium now would be worth maybe $30 million. But at the time when we were talking, it was worth about, maybe $15 million. So he tripled his money in a very short period of time. And he's complaining because he said, Peter, yes, that was $5 million. It's now $15 million. But he was upset because he said if he bought a house, if he bought a house, he would have made a lot more money. So he's saying he was looking at houses for a bit more money, like 10 million. Those same houses now here in the Philippines, he's looking in Makati actually, they're as much as 200 and 300 million pesos. Just absolutely mind-boggling. So, it comes down to getting in early, and obviously, it's getting later in the piece now, but like I said, I still think there's a lot of room for movement, especially in smaller cities outside of Metro Manila. Metro Manila has increased a lot already, and it can be very expensive, especially in secured gated estates. So you want to start to look at maybe similar style properties in like Clark Pampanga, maybe Subic Bay, maybe even Bohol. I think Bohol's a beautiful place. Just be adventurous, have a look at the options there, and make sure that you haggle and negotiate when you buy, and you do your research. So thanks a lot, everyone. This is Peter from the Property Club. Have a great day.
Peter